Welcome to Buffalo Reefs. I'm Scott Rankin along with Brian LaCicero, Coach Mike Owens, Ricky Cumby, and the starting quarterback for the Vikings, Blake James. And we'll get with Blake in just a minute. But, Coach Owens, a great win over a Freeport team that you really don't never know what's going to happen with those guys. You can beat them 48-0, or you can lose 47-49. But I know you and Coach Anderson are good friends, and he put up a gallant effort there in the first half. But numbers outdid him in the second half.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to convince a lot of people that, but Freeport's going to put 11 kids out there. That's going to be, get after you, and they're going to be well prepared, and they're going to play hard, and stepping up to 6A level, under the big lights. They're excited. They have nothing to lose, so it's kind of a tough deal for us, and it's tough to convince our kids, that little Freeport can be tough like that, but with basically a Division I athlete like Gabe Moore at quarterback, there's so many things can happen, and I expected us to struggle early and them to give us a fit, and they did. Didn't really expect them to be ahead of us, in the second quarter, but we did a good job of overcoming that, and the kids focused the halftime, and second half was pretty much all ours. But your hats off to them. I mean, I'm not going to say that it was strictly us not being prepared, because they had a good plan and they played hard, and I look for them to be a playoff team again this year in their division.
Coach, I know one thing that really is a concern to me, and something I thought about all weekend, is that we struggled a little bit with Freeport early. We all know what Tate has coming back. Tate had a lot of sophomores, juniors last year. And you've got to go to Tate to play them. You guys are going to have your hands full over there.
Oh, there's no doubt. We step up, a team that's got very good athletes. Like you said, last year, Scott, they had probably about 10 or 12 sophomores starting. I'm assuming those same kids are starting now. It's kind of hard to tell. They did not have a game last week because they were playing a team out of Louisiana who, I can't remember the team, but they were underwater from the hurricane. So their game was canceled. So they were over watching us, and, all we have really on film is their half basically against PHS in the kickoff classic. So it'll be, again, tough for us to know what's going to happen until we get there. But I think we can take the lack of preparation mentally, I think, last week and use that to our advantage in the future. And that's kind of the thing I hope we get across, and we'll come out the blocks better this week.
What do you think, going into this week, preparing for Tate, are y'all going to stick to the same game plan, or are you going to tweak it a little bit? What Stricker got up his sleeve this week for Tate?
Well, we got a few wrinkles, basically the same stuff, but every week we'll have a few wrinkles for each team as we see their weaknesses or the type of defense or offense that they run. So we definitely got a few things. It's kind of a building block for our team. That's this is a process that we're trying to get to, that by the time we play Mosley in week 4, our first district game, we got a full package in, and we know what we're good at. Right. And right now we're still kind of figuring out what exactly we're good at. We know we have a great quarterback here that can sling the ball around and get it to. We got some people that can catch and make some plays. But we're going to have to run the ball at times and do a little bit better run blocking. And we worked on a lot of that and got a few wrinkles, maybe some 2-back sets, and using some of these, in particular, young running back that was our leading rusher on one carry last week. So, we got a few wrinkles going there.
This is Scott Rankin along with Brian LaCicero. We're at the Mike Owens Coaches Show at Beef O'Brady's. Buffalo Reefs. I don't know why I keep saying Beef O'Brady's. I've said that thing about 9
both
times.
Got good wings.
I guess that lives close to my house. Yeah, but they're not as good as Buffalo Reefs.
Nobody's good as Buffalo Reefs.
But, Mike, after you said what you said and with Blake and stuff, and one thing that I was able to notice about Blake again this week, 2 weeks in a row actually, is his thought process back there behind center. You can constantly see him thinking. He's constantly moving. He's looking for somebody open downfield, and he just doesn't make mistakes.
Yeah, well, he's definitely matured a great deal, and really proud of the transformation that he continues to make at quarterback. I think he made one, mistake, bad kind of throw, but it was really not a bad read, and it wasn't that bad a throw. They made a nice play. And that's going to happen. You throw the ball 30 times or whatever we throw it, it's going to, those things will happen. But I'm very proud that Blake learned from that. He didn't get his head down. He came back and that set him on fire. I think was pretty much untouchable the rest of the game. So that's how you'd like to see you guys respond.
One thing I want to say is you've watched Blake mature from last year to this year. You've got to be super excited about having. And we had the 95-yard touchdown pass that I personally called us to run the ball up the middle, try to get some field position and punt that thing. And Blake throws I don't know if it was a down, out, and up or what it was to Marquise Davenport, but he put that thing on the money. It couldn't have been any prettier, and that may be a Fort Walton Beach school record.
Yeah, we're kind of researching that right now. It's the longest one I can remember, and no, definitely in 12 years I've been here. We've had some pretty good ones, but that's the longest one I can remember. It was a third and about 12 or so. We're deep in our own territory. We're having trouble stopping them, to be honest with you, so we don't want to give the ball back. So we got a little play to run a comeback route, and they changed their defense. They went in a press cover 2, and Marquise converted, and Blake and him worked together well, and it was a 95-yarder. So it's one of those things that is very exciting, and it shows the capability of our guys out there. So we're, hopefully keep executing like that in the future. And the bad thing was we were 3rd and 12. We had a few missed blocks and a few, we got a little confused on some of our blocking schemes and had some run throughs that we got to get better at. And I think we will. I know we will, and put us in that situation. But it's good to know that we're in a situation.
Well, we got Blake James sitting right here. We'll talk about his numbers real quick. Blake, you were 11 of 16 for passing. You're 68.8 percentage on your pass. You had 204 yards and 5 touchdowns with 1 interception, which Coach talked about. Really, when we're going to pass the ball that much, you kind of expect that. How do you recover from that and continue the game on?
Well, on that interception, it definitely was a bad read on my part. I didn't see that linebacker dropping. But like Coach said, I think that pick definitely fired me up. Definitely wanted to get back out there and do something good.
Well, I had a chance to talk to Dexter this weekend, and one thing he told me, he was like, who started quarterback? I said, Blake. He said, Dexter's words were they should have been starting him last year. I ain't calling nobody out. But at least you got your teammates following behind you, and that's a big, big thing. I know when I played my senior year, we were all behind Mike Owens. He was our man. He was the guy we protected. He was the guy we counted on, and it seems like this team counts on you. And you did have a chance to run the ball a little bit.
Yes, sir. Last 2 games, I've actually run the ball a little bit.
And that speed is deceptive. I mean, you're fast. I didn't realize you were. Of course, you're not a deathlete, or what do they call that guy? Decathlete.
Yeah.
But I think you could be.
Well, I try.
But anyway, you got Tate coming up this week.
Fear's a great motivator.
You got Tate coming up this week. You got to play at Tate, first on the road game, as the signal caller. What kind of week of practice are we looking for? What are you looking to do at practice this week to keep these guys focused to know that we've got to pull this win off?
Yeah, just remind everybody to stay focused at practice. Stay into practice, make sure everybody's paying attention, and get the game plan in for Tate. And like Coach said earlier, these first 3 games are getting ready for district, starting with Mosley. So we got to make sure that we got everything in when Mosley comes.
Well, Blake, we hope we have a good game like you've done before. Wish you best of luck. We're gonna have one of your receivers come here.
Chris Bodden.
Chris Bodden, he's one of your go-to men.
Yep.
He's been with you for a couple years now. How do you like throwing to him?
Yeah, Chris is a good one. Me and him have good connection. He some of these plays busted. He knows how to get work open and find them in the holes.
Well, one thing I noticed about the touchdown pass, we had the one touchdown pass, and I can't remember, I'm not recalling who it was to. They had worked back to the ball.
Yep. We work on that in practice. When I'm scrambling, they work back to me.
Incredible.
Coach Brigman does a fine job with
Coach
that.
Brigman does a great job getting those guys. But it was a great play and a great touchdown for you. But one thing we need for you to work on is getting your daddy getting your daddy to get us back up to the hunting camp. And I know you got a lot of influence with that.
You gotta talk to him about
But
that.
I tell you what, Blake, you're a joy to watch. You're a great kid, and I just hope you carry us right straight to the promised land. State championship's all I want to talk about.
Let's go, yes, sir.
Blake James, the starting quarterback for the Fort Walton Beach Vikings. And sitting down with us now is Chris Bowden. You wouldn't know Chris was a high school wide receiver looking at him. If you had to guess what he did for a living, you would not think he was a high school wide receiver. But this kid can flat catch it. If you put it anywhere close to him, he'll go get it. And he's become one of our favorites.
He's got a lot of wheels there, I tell you.
Chris, tell us a little bit about Coach Brigman and how he gets you guys motivated to play every Friday night.
Coach Bergman.
And be kind now.
I mean, he's a prick. I mean,
That's the second guy we've had say that.
Well, he is. He puts that in our heads when we're on the field. We have to be pricks, and we have to let the defense know we're there from the very start. And he gets us hyped up and tells us what to do. But he just says, let them know that we're there in the beginning.
Right. What does he do when you guys miss a couple balls? What's his motto?
If you're wearing gloves, there's no more gloves. That's how it is. And then if not, you do push-ups on the sideline, or we do the jug machines now, which is a pain, but it'll help us.
I tell you, Coach Brickman works y'all hard and stuff, but one of the things I think that he tries to get from you guys as receivers is blocking. Am I right about that? What does he do to tell you about the blocking situations when we're swinging passes out in the flats and stuff? What do y'all have to do? Because I know he critiques y'all on the film.
Yes, he does. In practice, well, he doesn't like going over blocking. It's his worst thing. So if we mess up in the game, the Monday practice is horrible. But basically, it is. I mean, but the receivers get together and say that if we block, then we won't have to do it, and we can focus on more of the catching and stuff. So we try our best to block during the game.
I don't know if it was you or one of the other receivers, but one of y'all said that Blake James throws the most catchable ball you've ever caught. Was that you or was that somebody else?
It's probably somebody else, but they are really true about that. He does. He has a great ball, and he puts it right on the line. If you run your route right, it's there for you.
Well, Chris, I'll tell you what, we've enjoyed it. Matter of fact, I was at a ball game with Coach Owens last year at Knoxville High School doing some semi-scouting. But anyway, to make a long story short, I guess Coach Brigman had told y'all, I want to see y'all at the ball game. Y'all be standing up here on the rail next to me, and if you got a date, bring him with you. Is that true?
Yes, sir. I was there with him.
I saw you standing there, Chris.
Yeah, and I did bring my date, but it was all about the football.
Okay, tell us a little bit about what you have in store for the future. We know you're a senior this year. What are your plans? What do you think you want to do after you get out of school and finish your career in football? Or you think you're going to go somewhere, at a different level?
I would like to go to college, but if I don't, I want to go to FSU and become an architectural engineer.
There you go.
Architect. That's good. I'll tell you, this is Scott Rankin along with Brian LaCicero, Coach Mike Owens, and Chris Bowden, the senior wide receiver, and to me, the go-to guy. The go-to guy. If we need that first down, you know where that first down marker is. And we're at Buffalo Reefs, and these guys doing a great job, taking good care of us. I don't know if Brian James noticed my glass is empty, but maybe he'll get the hang of that here in a minute. But Touchdown Club President Brian James actually getting things rocking and rolling this year. But, Chris, I tell you, I've been super impressed with you for 2 years, and this year has not changed one iota. You keep up doing the good work, keep doing the things that you're doing, and you're going to have a big senior season. And we look for some big things from you, especially when that district action starts, because Mosley's coming right down the pike at us, and they're going to be tough.
Yes, it is.
Got anything for Chris?
No, that's it.
Mr. Owens, you got anything for Chris?
No, but, Chris is one of our hard workers. He's a state weightlifting qualifier at his weight, which is not very much. But he's a strong young man, I tell you, and one of our leaders. And nobody works harder than Chris. And we're glad Chris is wearing number 7, which he'll be the last one to do that. We'll talk about that later. We got Isaiah Denman, sophomore, coming up next. And Isaiah is caught his first varsity touchdown pass Friday night, and Isaiah's got a big career ahead of him.
Isaiah, you got a great shirt on.
Thank you.
Go Noles. But I tell you what, the way you worked back to help the quarterback out was very impressive Friday night. Talk to us a little bit about what Coach Brigman's got y'all doing as far as working back to the quarterback, because you weren't open at the beginning and you had to work yourself back.
Yes, sir. Well, we did a scrimmage, I think, and we were doing, Blake would be scrambling and no one would be moving with him, so he would just get sacked and he'd just keep getting sacked. So then we started working this scramble drill where we always have to come back. We started doing that 2 weeks ago, so now all the receivers come back or go deeper, whatever they need to do to get open for the scramble whenever Blake's running around in the back.
You keep that kind of stuff up, you're going to look good in garnet gold over there in Tallahassee.
Yes, sir.
How old are you right now, Dad?
15.
15-year-old there. Okay, tell me a little bit about some of the drills that Coach Brigman's worked with y'all during the summer and through the beginning of the season.
Yes, sir. The best thing that's helped me so far is Coach Brigman bought this jugs machine. It shoots these footballs at you
Right.
He usually has on 80, I think, and we usually have to catch 50 in a row. So that's helped me a lot with my grip strength and just grabbing the ball.
Well, let me tell you, Coach Brigman didn't buy the jugs machine. The Touchdown Club did, but that's part of what we do as a parent sponsored group that helps the football team. That was something that Coach Brigman was dying to get. We got the jugs machine, and you're a testament to what's happening to our program when people step up like Buffalo Reefs and promoting and starting sponsoring the football touchdown club. Things like this happen, and you just told us about the jugs machine. We're glad to see it's going to good use.
Yes, sir.
You got to speak more now. I'm going to tell you something. Rashad Wilson may be the smallest speaker on the team, but you're running a very close second. Go ahead and speak up and do your thing, man. But I tell you what, you were impressive on Friday night. It's good to see you getting in there and getting that kind of action. Keep up the hard work. We're going to need big things from you this year.
Yes, sir.
Isaiah Denman.
Isaiah's got a big future ahead, and we got the next guy coming up. I think Brian knows a little bit about receiver Andrew LaCicero. Andrew's a junior for us, number 17, and had some back injuries and stuff this preseason that kind of slowed him down. He's just now getting back in the swing of it. I tell you what, he's one of our great effort guys and has come a long way. And I just want to reiterate what Brian said about the Touchdown Club. That's what they do to support us, like getting the jugs machine, sleds or video equipment, speed tracks machine, anything that we need that is going to help train or help us perform better on Friday night, help these kids get to where they need to be. They find a way to get it done. And, without that kind of effort, with all our sponsors, the people that sponsor our Touchdown Club, our corporate sponsors, the people that buy the signs, that's what we, all goes together to make us a successful program. But let's talk to Andrew.
Andrew, I'm not going to let your daddy talk to you because he probably hammers you all the time. But I just want to ask you one question. Who's meaner, your mom or your dad?
Be
honest now.
I definitely say my mother.
I guarantee it. I already I figured that out already. She runs that show, doesn't she?
She definitely does. Yeah, she does.
Shout out to Heidi, who's done a great job. And I tell you, it was good to see you get back in there and get some playing time Friday.
Yeah.
I know you were kind of limping around a little bit during the kickoff classic, but it's time for you to step up.
Yeah, it really is. It felt great being out there and stuff. It really got to me not being able to practice and stuff like that. And once I got the okay to be out there again, I was ready to go out 100%. And it kind of took me a little while to go into it and stuff. But I'm ship-shape performance.
But I could tell the difference the way you ran your routes in the kickoff classic versus the way you were running your routes the other night. I knew your back. If I hadn't known from your dad, I wouldn't have known your back was bothering you. But I could tell by the way you were making your cut, something was up. Well, you had a hitch in your giddy up in your hip or whatever.
Yeah.
But last Friday night, it looked like you were back to almost 100%.
Thank you.
And we're looking for some big things. You're big enough to go out there and just go get that football. And
That's
I know
what I'm
your
hoping
dad's
for.
very proud of you. I keep calling him Brian. I keep calling you Brian LaCicero.
Well, Andrew, look, this is your dad talking.
Really?
I'm gonna ask you a couple questions, but
All right.
anyways, tell us a little bit about. We brought Paul Stricker back on, as the new offensive coordinator. Talk about the play calling that he does with the receivers and working with Coach Brickman this year. What do you feel about that?
Well, I really love it because we're still running the spread offense and stuff, and I think it's really versatile offense and stuff, and all the ways you can run the offense. It's got passing, run plays, full wide outs. There's split backs. You got pretty much everything you need, and all these packages and stuff. It's a great offense to run, and Coach Stricker's doing a great job and stuff. And play calling's really it's really good. So
Yeah, we've had a chance to interview Coach Stricker twice, and of course the second time was at halftime last week, and he said first thing he said out of his mouth was make adjustments, and that's exactly what Coach Owens and his group did was make adjustments.
Yeah.
But
I tell you,
I've got one question for you. Why aren't you punting?
what's that?
Why aren't you punting?
Well, I just haven't really given it a shot after the back injury and stuff. I haven't, because I think that was one of the things that might have gotten the pain inflicting. So I might try it out. I just don't want to do anything that might cause pain to come back. So I'm
your injury wasn't really a big major back injury.
Yeah.
It's just that he's a growing boy. It's one of his growth plates. And,
Typical daddy.
well, no, he went to the orthopedic doctor, and that's what he told him. He said he's got a growth plate that's got a gap in it, and he's expected to grow for another 2 inches or so, which is going to be great for next year. Put some more height and put a lot of weight on him, too.
yeah.
Scott Rankin along with Brian LaCicero. We're talking with Andrew LaCicero, and yes, that is Brian's youngest son. And we are at Buffalo Reefs along with Brian James, Coach Mike Owens, and I'll tell you what, these folks they do a great job taking good care of us. The place in Destin did a fabulous job, but Buffalo Reefs is Johnny on the spot with anything we need. And we certainly appreciate them putting on the Coach Mike Owens show. We appreciate everybody coming out on Labor Day and doing this thing. Going to Tate Friday night, Brian. Andrew. I don't. I bet you look. I bet if we took pictures at you, look just like him.
have told him where's LSU jersey here.
Oh, that would have really said. He's not an LSU fan. We're going to have him converted over to FSU by the
I
time.
don't know about that.
Friday night, though, we're going over to Tate. That's going to be a tough ball game. You'll be ready to play ball?
Yes, sir. I definitely will. It's going to be a lot different from playing Freeport 2A high school and then going to 6A. It's stepping up, so we got to really step up our game and stuff. I think as a team, we're definitely ready for it and ready to put the time work in for this week at practice, and we're ready to go take the win.
Well, it's great. I appreciate you sitting down talking to us. You're always a joy to talk to. You're a whole lot nicer to talk to than your daddy. You don't look quite as good as your mama, but you dang sure good to talk to. Andrew LaCicero, work on that punting because I've seen you kick a JV ball one time, went about 68 yards, so I know you're able to punt. So get that back, man, because it doesn't hurt to have two punters. Andrew LaCicero, the junior wide receiver for the Forum Beach Vikings. Brian James has got the microphone in his hand, so let's get Brian James on there real quick. Brian, go ahead and say a few words.
Only thing I want to do is thank Buffalo's Reef, a locally owned business that understands the value of high school football for these young men and building the character, and they stepped up to sponsor this. This is a fixture in downtown Fort Walton Beach, and we want everybody to come out. And got you next exact 6 o'clock on Monday nights. Come out here and enjoy some of the best wings and south of the Mason-Dixon line. We got a new guest out here. Let's talk to the kids.
And we got a big crowd of Vikings here tonight too. I think we've pretty much packed the house. My own wife couldn't even find a place to sit a while ago, but right now we're bringing on freshman Antonio Marshall. Antonio was, of course, had a big game. Scored his first varsity touchdown last week. One of many more to come. And he's one of that group from Bruner last year that went undefeated. That's along with him and Romeo Finley and Jaquil Merrill and Jake Fairley, and that whole group of kids, much, much more, is going to be a really, really strong group for us in the future. But Antonio Marshall's here tonight.
I'll tell you, Antonio, we've been looking forward. Matter of fact, I told Brian in the pregame show, I said, I can't wait for Coach Owens to put him in the backfield and turn him loose. The cool thing about that is we got 4 more years of you. That's incredible. But your maturity level, your athletic ability, and keep your school focused in your mind, and you're going to go a long way. But you are an incredible athlete, and we're certainly glad to have you in Viking land. How did it feel scoring your first varsity touchdown Friday night?
I mean, it felt good. The varsity boys welcomed me. I felt more welcome in being on varsity with them. I just felt that that's my position, so I made it seem like that's where I wanted to play. So that's why I ran hard.
I know last year Coach Owens called me up on a Thursday morning. He said, what are you doing tonight? And I said, nothing really. He said, you need to come watch this Antonio Marshall kid run at Bruner. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Your future is so bright. Keep yourself focused. Keep your eyes on your fries and do the right things. And you got some big things coming ahead of you, Antonio.
Antonio, tell us a little bit about the play that you scored a touchdown with. You know, what was the call, and then how you reacted when you came around the corner. Because you really just turned the wheels on it and outran everybody. It was a 43-yard scamper, too.
Mm-hmm. Well, Coach made the call, and I asked him, can I get in? And then he made the call of 12, which is the inside run. And then I see he was jammed in inside, so I went outside. And then as I see a linebacker, I bounced off him, and as he grabbed my jersey, he kind of like gave me a spring to go on the other side of the field. So I ran that way, and I was waiting on my blockers, and which was the quarterback, Sam Kelly. And then as I ran, I just figured that's what my favorite.
Yeah, I tell you, Sam Kelly put a key block out there for you. I don't know if he was leading it for you. I mean, he made that play happen for you.
Mm-hmm.
Antonio, just keep your eyes on your fries. Keep people next to you that are going to keep you straight up, and big things are going to happen to you. I'm telling you right now. You got a long life. I know Coach Owens thinks a lot of you. He was definitely glad to get you. Matter of fact, we used to tease John Hicks over at Niceville because every time Roy Finch would go down, John Hicks was Johnny on the spot. And when you took the shot in the kickoff classic in the chest, I ain't never seen Coach Owens move that fast in my life, except for a piece of Danny's fried chicken.
That was a little floater out there, huh?
Yeah, he got welcomed to high school football real quick, but Antonio's been, he's got a bright future, as you say, and of course, he's kind of been playing a position unnatural to him, a slot receiver that, he's working on, and he really has done a great job there, and and plus with his ability to move in the backfield and run the football, it gives us a lot of versatility at that position. So we expect a lot of big things out of him in the future. And next week, I think we got his brother, Anthony. We call him Jay or AJ.
Good job, buddy.
Anthony is a 10th grader. He's playing a little receiver and defensive back, mainly on our JV, but also with the varsity. Has got a bright future ahead of him as well. AJ Marshall.
We'll start calling AJ Smiley because Antonio will never smile. He's dead serious, but Anthony got a little smile to him. I like that. Anthony, how you feel about having your little brother on the team?
It feel good, that brother bonding thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feel good. Yeah.
So what do you think about the ball game Friday night? Did y'all feel y'all played well, and are y'all well enough to maybe take this district championship?
Yes.
We got some big games coming down the line. October 19th, we're going to be up there in Boggy Land taking on my Coach Owens' home team, and I'm looking forward to that.
Me too. I'm trying to get better so I can play with the big boys, trying to prove to Coach Owens I can be a good receiver. He trust me through the games and all that. But, yeah, I'm ready. We all ready. So, ready for this game Friday against Tate.
That's going to be a big contest going over to Tate. Tate's a tough place to play. Not well lit over there. Hard on receivers to catch a football. But if you guys can come out of there with a victory, I think you set the tone getting ready for Mosley.
Yeah, you're right.
Do you participate in any other sports other than football?
Yes, sir.
Football? Which ones are you participating in?
Basketball and track.
Okay. All right. What do you do in track?
200 and 4x4.
Okay. Got some speed there. Huh?
Good deal. Anthony Marshall. I bet John Lavin's chomping at the bits to get him out there.
Yeah, John, he played on our JV team in basketball last year and was one of our stars on that. And he'll be on our team this year, obviously. And AJ's come a long way, and he's got a bright future, as well as he's got two younger brothers, too, coming up. So the Marshall family's been good to us. So we're going to, his mother's here, Shakitra, and they're getting settled here, and it's all been a very positive experience, and we look forward to him being a big part of our program for the next 3 years after this one, 2 years after this one as well. Next, I think we got Dominic Tudor.
Thank you, Anthony. We appreciate it, man. Thank you very much, Anthony, for coming to sit down with us. Dominic Tudor, just like must be his uncle, Scott.
Or dad.
Is he your dad?
Yeah.
I didn't know. All I knew is when I was growing up, Scott Tudor was a hammer back in my day. Oh, yeah. He'd run over you in a heartbeat.
He was only like 5'7".
Yeah, but he would smack you right in the lips. Yeah, he was tough. Anthony, tell us what position you play and what you weigh and your height and size. Dominic.
I'm 5'8", wide receiver, like 151 pounds.
What year are you?
2014.
So you're a junior.
Yes, sir.
You're with Andrew's group. Yeah.
So,
Coach, you got a lot of receivers and young guys coming back next year.
We do. Really, the only receiver that we have be Chris Bodden that's moving on. And, of course, we have Tony Lawrence, who had a big touchdown last week, too, who came out late. It's kind of our Y, guy. But we do have a talented group of guys. And, really, we're about 2 or 3 deep at every position right now. We can run. Of course, Marquise is kind of the lead guy right now and had the big game last Friday with all that yardage. But a lot of these kids are very talented, and Dominic is one of the great effort guys, plays on some special teams, got great hands, runs good routes, kind of a possession guy, but he's like a second-generation Viking, and he's been a big part of our program now for a couple of years, and we expect a lot of big things out of him. What do you think about Tate this week?
I think they're going to be easy because how deep the corners are. So it's going to be a piece of cake. Well, that's what I think. So.
How do you feel about Coach Bregman?
No, he's tough, but I love him. He's a really good coach.
He's real intense, isn't he?
Oh, yeah.
Tell me a little bit about this summer. I know, Andrew, my son's worked real hard this summer.
Mm-hmm.
I know you were out there this summer busting it. You put a lot of effort into the summer program to prepare for this year. How do you feel like you progressed this year in the summer?
I think I progressed a lot more better on the routes and all that because when I started last year, when I watched the videos, I was a little bit more slower.
Right.
And my routes wasn't more like better or whatever.
Right.
But as the year went by, this whole summer, everything's point to point.
Right.
There's no rounding off or nothing. And I've been a lot more faster too.
Yeah. I tell you, running the spread offense at Fort Walton Beach, you can't beat that as a receiver.
No.
You're guaranteed you're going to be going in there clicking and trying to catch some passes and blocking and doing a bunch of schemes and stuff.
Oh, yeah. They won't expect it. Mostly defense here does the running stuff, whatever. So they ain't used to the spreads.
Right.
So it's a lot more easier on us as the wide receivers.
Right.
I guarantee your daddy would like to run the spread back when he was playing, but your dad would run. I mean, I can tell you, I remember Scott Tudor, Scott Grote, Dane McDaniel. Those guys would hammer you.
Oh,
buddy.
yeah.
That was back in the heyday, and they were good as they can be. But, Dominic, we appreciate the effort you're putting through. We certainly appreciate you sitting down and talking with us tonight. And Coach Owens is singing your praise. And if you can get Coach Owens to sing your praise, you're doing something right.
I will.
Thank you, Dominic Tudor.
Well,
But you're talking about Dominic's dad. His claim to fame was a field goal at the end of the game to beat Choctaw somewhere in the early 70s. I don't know. But that's his. Now we have up Cody Moore. Cody's been played several positions for us. Our punter, plays our wide receiver, and also run a little H. and also he's going to play a little defense coming up. Very talented young athlete. He's a junior this year. Very, very good baseball player. You know, he's just a do-it-all kind of kid. We got Cody Moore.
Cody, if I'd have had to pick you out of a lineup, I'd have never guessed it. I'll be honest with you. I've been pushing why John Marvin's not punting, but you've been doing a great job punting the football, getting the ball off on a quick. But if they would have said, pick Cody Moore out of a lineup, I couldn't have done it. But you have had so far you know Cody though. 2 years, the 2 years I've watched you, you've gotten better and better every year.
Thank you.
And this year looks like it's going to be a stellar season for you, especially with that punting, because that's a big issue. Nick Quinn's your long snapper.
Yes, sir.
You don't have Kyle Oliver back there.
Yes, sir.
But Nick's had good snaps, all except one right now.
Yes, sir.
That I've counted. But you've done a great job punting. How's it feel to be the punter over there at Fort Walton?
It's pretty good knowing that John Marvin was the punter last year, and now it's me. It's good.
Cody, not only do you play, do the punting and stuff, tell us a little bit about, Coach Owens was talking about many positions you play. Which one's your favorite position to play, when you're not punting?
My favorite position to play is outside linebacker. I like to hit people.
You like
Yes,
hitting
sir. Yes, sir. That's probably my favorite.
Well, Cody, you're definitely big enough to play outside linebacker. You've done a great job punting so far. It's been to me it's a thrill to meet you. I never would have, like I said, I'd never picked you out of a starting lineup. Talk about you every Friday night, but with them helmets on and shoulder pads and stuff, you never know what the guy's going to look like. But Mike, he's done a great job punting for you. And John Martin was our punter last year, and he thumped it pretty good. But Cody's done a great job so far.
Yeah, Cody's got a lot of natural ability. And like I said, just finding out the right place for him to fit in, for us offensively and defensively. He can do a lot of things. He can throw a ball too. He can do a lot of stuff. So we may have some wrinkles going on there with the punt team here with him. But he is one of our better athletes in our school, and he's going to really lead us to a lot of good things in baseball and football as well. So Cody Moore. Got another year with him after this one. So, Cody, keep it up, and got a big game at Tate this week. So, I think we're going to start with some defensive backs coming up next. So, Cody's kind of got to swing it a little back and forth with outside linebacker. So, we're going to bring Brandon Thomas up next.
Cody, thank you very much, man. It was great to meet you. Have a great year. Keep that punting up, buddy.
Yes,
we definitely need you.
Yes, sir.
Defensive back Brandon Thomas, a 10th grader, starting number 20, made a huge play last week on a fourth down stop in the end zone. He's a very talented kid who also could play running back and receiver. He's grown up and doing a lot of that. Him and he and Chase Outson, two 10th graders, starting in the secondary. It's not really a place you'd like to have 10th graders starting, but these two kids are phenomenal players and athletes. They got a bright future. And Brandon also is his older brother played at Fort Walton, and so we're expecting big things out of him.
Well, I'll tell you what, that was a huge play in the fourth quarter when you knocked away that ball, Brandon. I was like, Brian had made a comment. He said we only got two sophomores starting in the secondary, and that was a huge play. That had to be a big thrill for you.
Yes, sir. It was a big thrill for me. It got my confidence up a lot after I did that, and my team got pumped. I felt good. Yes, sir.
Tell us a little bit about the defense that you guys do to prepare each week as being cornerbacks and stuff. I know Chase does some of the punt returning and stuff. Is that some of the stuff that you would do too normally, or?
Yes, sir. I go back with the punt returners too sometimes, or I go catch fumble rooskies, I guess we call them, when you pick up fumbles.
Right, right. Now, how do you like the scheme of the defense and the defensive coordinator for Fort Walton?
I love him. He's one of my favorite coaches.
Which is who?
Coach Cotton.
Okay.
One of my favorite coaches.
Yeah, we love Coach Cotton, and Coach
Love
Steele does
Coach
a great
Cotton.
job on the defense there.
Brandon, I tell you what, you were a thrill to watch Friday night, and that touchdown-saving play you made down there, that was a big-time play. That was a college play. And if you've got that coming in you, what's sweet about that whole deal, we got 2 more years of you, man. So keep up the hard work. Keep working hard. Maybe we'll see you back there returning a punt for a touchdown.
Yes, sir.
Number 20, Brandon Thomas.
And Brandon, like you said, the next few years he's going to be a return guy for us, and he's got a lot of speed and a lot of, he suffered through some injuries and stuff last year with I think the last ninth grade game of the year he broke a bone in his leg, and he kind of through the off season kind of got a little bit behind, but he's really caught up, and he's had a great year so far, and we expect big things out of him as it gets tougher and he gets more and more experience. The next guy we got coming up, another sophomore secondary guy, Chase Outson.
Thank you, Brandon.
Chase was actually on, he doesn't know this yet, but he was our defensive back of the week for our coaches, and Robbie Owens was the defensive lineman of the week. Alan Anderson was our special teams player of the week with a kickoff return for a touchdown. And then we had Marquise Davenport. It was kind of a toss-up, but Marquise had the big game, at receiver was our offensive back of the week. And Colin Cyrus was our offensive lineman of the week and had a good game at center. But this kid here, Chase, is another baseball player, also tremendous athlete. I've been watching Chase for a while. Up through the middle school ranks. He's a Destin Middle School product, as Blake is, and Andrew and several of our kids are. We're Chase, a homegrown boy, and we're glad to have him here with us.
Scott Rankin along with Brian LaCicero. We're at Buffalo Reefs for the second annual Coach Mike Owens show. We're sitting here with sophomore Chase Outson. Chase, Marcus is related to you how?
He's not related to me.
Not related. That just helps us out tremendously. I've had about 19 people ask me in the last 5 days how you're related to Marcus Outson. I said, I have no clue, but I will find out Monday night. So you're not related to Marcus at all?
No, I'm not.
Well, buddy, you play as hard as Marcus did.
Thank you.
We didn't call him the Rooster for nothing. Marcus was as tough as they got, but you have really stepped in there and filled some big shoes, and your punt returning ability is incredible. How does it feel back there when you're standing there in front of those Viking fans and that punt's going up? As a sophomore, that's got to be intimidating.
It's awesome. I just love playing out there on Friday night under the lights with my teammates out there as a sophomore returning punts. It's awesome.
Tell us a little bit about, of course, this summer you worked hard and you got, prepared for the season and stuff. When did you know that you're going to become one of the starters on the varsity squad?
During the middle of the summer, Coach Steele called me out to go out with John and Gabe and Brandon, and I knew from there that I was going to be a number one safety for the Vikings this year.
Right. That's got to be a huge feeling as a sophomore to know you're going to step out there the starting of the season and be the number one safety.
Yeah, it's awesome. I love it.
Well, we know that they saw a lot, some good stuff in with your ability. Friday night, the game, you had some good hits. You had a couple good returns. You had a block, extra point. Tell us a little bit about that and how you got around the corner to block that.
I read the last outside guy, and as Rashad went in, I knew that I could get there on time and just saw the ball go, and I had to block it.
Yeah, we saw you lay out there pretty good. Felt pretty good blocking that. So, Rashad? Oh, okay. Well, you laid out pretty good when you were blocking that, and hopefully we'll see that in the future. It's all a timing play, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
How was that? Were you on the field when Rashad put that lick on that quarterback, Gabe Moore?
I saw it in the corner of my eye because I was still in my coverage, but right once I saw Rashad hit him, I knew the crowd was going to go crazy.
I think Rashad actually went crazy,
Yeah.
or they wouldn't have thrown that flag on him for taking his helmet off.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, the defense gets around the football as fast as I've seen a defense in 3.5 years.
Yes, sir.
You guys got to keep that effort up every Friday night. And it's hard to get up every Friday night.
Yes, sir.
But if you guys will keep that up for every Friday night, I can smell a state championship coming down the road. And that's not – I've been around this a long time, but you guys are that good.
Thank you.
Just keep up the hard work. We'll let Coach Owens finish this up.
Well, Chase Outson, again, kid that we expect a lot of big things. He's one of the most probably one of the most natural players back there we've had in a long time. I mean, he's instinctive. And of course, he's not a very big guy, as you can see, and just being a 10th grader, I think if he'll hit the weights hard and increase his speed and size, he's got a chance to do a lot of great things too. But a lot of instincts and tremendous athlete. And Chase, we expect big things from Friday night, brother.
Thank you.
All right. Got Tory Banks coming up here. Tory Banks is a junior, outside linebacker. Also plays some receiver, and had some big licks on our special teams, especially back against the Scamby in the kickoff classic. Tory Banks.
Tory Banks, I believe you had a big lick last Friday night against Freeport too, didn't you?
Yes, sir.
How'd that feel?
It felt good.
You gotta love it.
Yes, sir.
My wife was like, why do you like seeing these guys hit each other like that? I said, you gotta love it. If you don't love it, you shouldn't be out there.
It's because you only got X amount of games during the year, and you work X amount of months to prepare for those few games, so you want to just bust it.
Yes, sir. It's just that you work so hard, and then when you finally get the pass on, get to go against somebody that's not your teammates,
Right.
it feel good to do something good for your team.
Mm-hmm. Well, Tory, I'll tell you, man, you got 2 more years. You're a sophomore.
Yes, sir.
You got
No,
2 more.
I'm a junior.
You're junior. You got another year.
Yes, sir.
You could be a jam-up wide receiver for us. I'd push Coach Owens and tell him, you want Marquise, push Marquise.
Yes, sir.
Because I think you can be the man out there, too, to catch balls and go in for 6. And ain't nothing more than I'd enjoy on a Friday night than calling Tory Banks' name on the radio to score 6.
Tory, tell us a little bit about how you like to, or how do you handle playing both sides of the field? You know, which one do you like better, offense or defense?
Truly, I like offense, but I feel more balance on defense, too.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I feel that we need help on defense at times and then help on offense at times.
Right.
I'm just really open up to have coach to put me at any position I can play.
Right. You just want to get out there and play.
Yes, sir.
Now, I know defensively we're pretty stacked up this year. We're fast. We've got a lot of seniors out there, but this year we got a good defense.
Yes, sir.
And what do you think about Coach Steele?
Coach Steele is a real great coach. He's not one of the coaches that always yell at you, play around, and
Right.
He's good at coaching, and he makes sure we get what we do before we go out and make sure we're good at what we at.
What about Coach Gardner? He'll holler at you a little bit?
Yes, sir.
I tell you what, I've been in love with Dave Gardner for a long time. He's a great guy. But, Tory, you've had a great couple of games, the Kickoff Classic. Need some big things from you from Tate. Let's keep this thing rolling, man. I'm telling you, I smell state championship down the road.
Yes, sir, I do, too.
Good deal. Tory Banks.
Appreciate Tory.
Well, I was going to tell you about Coach Gardner getting that flag called on him at the game.
Yeah, that guy on our sideline, he got a little, some of them get a little fired up about coaches being in the box, and but Tory's a big part. You know, everybody thinks special teams, think about kickers, Cody Moore, Austin Minks, but special teams are the whole team, and we got to have cover guys and snapping guys and all that. So Tory's a big part of that as he works his way in the starting position. We got a couple of kids now coming up. Man, we had one of the most exciting JV games this past week I have ever seen. These 2 guys are we got Tim Banks, no relation to Tory, and CJ Rozier. And both of them are, play up and play down. Some of our kids play varsity and JV, and, depending on what week it is or who we need and injuries. But we were down 12-0 to crosstown rival Choctaw in the 4th quarter, and all of a sudden, boy, we caught on fire, led by, Colby Tuthill's another kid that's going to be right in the mix next year. And we came back and scored we scored about 18 points in about 2 minutes. And we scored a touchdown with 1 second on the clock to snap the ball to win the game 18-12. It was very exciting. But these kids our program kids are both juniors, working out hard to play. And CJ and Tim, real quick, we talked to them real quick.
Tim, I'll tell you, Coach Owens called me the other night, and he's like, I thought he just opened a new shotgun at Christmas time. He was so daggum excited. That had to be a blast to beat Choctaw like that.
Yes, sir. It was. It was a great win, and I mean, I messed up on a few plays, and like he says, we have to get back. Yeah, like he says, we have to get back and just let it go, and then go on to the next play. Um, but it's a great win.
Who do y'all got next week?
We got Niceville Eagles. Got the Eagles, and we're gonna take it to them. We're Vikings, so.
Where's that game being played at, Coach?
It's going to be at Niceville. We don't play. We don't have a game this week. It'll actually be next week. But our next game will be at Niceville.
At Niceville. Well, Tim, evidently you must have had a great ball game for Fort Walton to pull that victory out against Choctaw. I know it was exciting because for him to call me and act like that, I knew something was up. Either y'all got smoked or something great happened, and it sounded like something great happened.
Yes, it did.
Good deal. Well, keep up the hard work.
Thank you.
Get up on that varsity team. Help us out up there. Let's get some victories. Let's get a couple state championships under our belt.
Yes, sir.
Tim Banks.
CJ Rozier, next, a wide receiver.
CJ looks a lot like my nephew Drew. CJ, were you part of that Choctaw victory?
Yes, sir. I was.
That had to be a blast.
It was. I had a few drops in that game, but I messed up. So next week we'll get them.
Well, that's good. Tell us a little bit about Coach Brigman, because you're a receiver too as well.
Yes, sir.
With Andrew and them. He works those receivers pretty hard every week, right?
Yes, sir. You got to have a mindset to go with Coach Bridman. He's tough on you.
Yeah, yeah. And then running a spread offense, I mean, you got to love it being a receiver.
Yes, sir.
I mean, get the ball thrown to you a lot.
Yes, sir.
So what do you feel about, that?
I feel like if I get the ball in my hands, I can do a few plays and a lot of that.
Just focus on that ball, CJ, and get
Yes,
that
sir.
thing caught. You got to catch it before you run.
Yes, sir.
You just get that thing focused and catch it before you run. But
Yes,
great
sir.
win last Friday night.
Thank
Get
you.
ready for the Eagles. Put something on them that Ajax won't wash off.
Thank you.
Thank you, CJ Rozier.
Well, these kids right here, they're great kids. They, work hard. Their skill levels, working to get better, to be on the varsity, and that's the kind of kids that are program kids that we want to, we want to mention these kids because they're part of our kids. They're part of our program.
This is Scott Rank along with Brian LaCicero, and we're with Coach Mike Owens at Buffalo Reefs for the second annual Coaches Show. And right now, sitting down, Coach, I'll let you introduce this guy because I don't know where you found him at, but he is fantastic.
Well, we have with us as a special guest for a few minutes here. Before we get on, I want to make sure everybody understands that our game is at 7:30 this Friday at Tate. It's a pretty good hall over there in Cantonment, north of Pensacola. So we'll make sure everybody understands that. But we have us with Coach Lupo, Coach Vic Lupo, who helps Coach Morez with our wrestling team. His son was a wrestler of the year, second in the state last year, Chris. And he also coaches our shot puts and throwers in the track, along with Bruner, Liza Jackson. He kind of has the thrower camp going on there, but he's also this year has taken over as our PA announcer and number one guy, Coach Lupo.
And I tell you what, we're certainly glad to have you. I know Brian has made us several comments because I don't really listen over to what's going on in your neck of the woods because I'm really focused on what I'm trying to do. But he said, man, that guy over there at the PA announcer's got that student section on their feet. And then I got to listening to you, and Coach Lupo, you got it going on over there.
No, that's just me. That's the way I am. If I talk, you're going to listen, and I make sure that that's the way it happens. But come when we have Milton, I guarantee you I'm going to have everybody on their feet.
That'll be great because the Milton game 2 weeks from now, we got Tate at home. Then we got Milton coming in, and that's Military Appreciation Night. And maybe we'll get Brian to speak a little bit about that before we close out. But Military Appreciation Night, all the military. Now, is that military active or retired, Brian?
It's actually active duty, reserve, or retired. Everybody gets in free, parks for free. Coming out, we got a little special music planned. At halftime, we're going to honor a soldier that was wounded in Afghanistan. There's a very moving story about how he won the Bronze Star. And he's just symbolic of a lot of people who sacrificed so we can sit here tonight at Buffalo's Reef.
Oh, I agree 100%. And I'll tell you what, I'm looking forward to that Milton game, and that's going to be a great ball game too. But back to Coach Lupo, you really get that crowd fired up. And you had that student section sitting flat on their butts. And then the next thing I know, you made a comment and the student section's up. I just got to take my hat off to you. You keep that going on, and we won't have any problems. It'll be hard to play in the rigs every Friday night.
That's my plan. That's the plan. Make it pretty much Death Valley.
I tell you, I was telling Scott when I got to talk to you a little bit in the booth when you were doing the first kickoff classic, kind of get to know a little bit about you and your background. You'd said you had done some broadcasting before and stuff. I said, well, this guy's a true professional, Scott. I said he knew how to handle it. And with you calling the numbers and the plays, the kids, making sure they're announced out, that gets the parents happy and proud. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I mean, I was an athlete when I was in high school, and I pretty much played football, wrestled, and it makes it that much more special, when after you make that big play and you hear your name, go out and the crowd yells for you and everything, and I just want to make sure it's special for these kids because they're not gonna know what they're missing until they miss it, and and that's one of the things that it comes from me. It's coming from the heart, and
and it
that's
really comes naturally with you, and you handle it on a very professional level. And I know we're looking forward to the rest of the season, and we're glad that you're a part of our team.
Oh, well, thank you. My wife wonders why they actually give me a microphone and speakers because she says I don't need it. I could just yell it out.
Well,
thank you.
We're hoping that he'll help. We have us about 8,000 packed there coming up with extra bleachers coming in 2 weeks in Milton, and we want the military there as long as our home folks. Is going to be a great game. Of course, we're focused on Tate. We're focused on winning Tate, but our next home game will be that game. And Coach Lupo, along with other people, he's a volunteer basically. I mean, he doesn't get paid to do what he does. He does it because he loves the kids. And wants to do the things that he does. And as far as track and stuff, he gets very little monetary value or anything for that. He's, volunteers his time to help kids out. And, Fort Walton Beach High School is all about that. We got a whole group of volunteers from people that do the down markers and chains, the people that do the PA, the radio, you guys. And, so and again, I want to push our sponsors, our corporate sponsors, all those signs that Brian and the parents put up after the hurricane. Had to go back, put the signs around the fence after the hurricane came through. But, I hope our Vikings people will support all our sponsors and, so that we're all on the same team. It's a big family. Speaking of family, thanks to Heidi LaCicero, we had a big day yesterday. We had a mother-son luncheon, Football 101, right, first annual. We had probably about 40 to 50 there. It was a fantastic day. A lot of pictures on the Facebook. If you're out there on the radio land or on the internet, you can friend us on Facebook. I can't remember the code. Brian can tell you that, but get on Facebook. You see a lot of the pictures of the boys with their moms, and I had a lot of fun trying to teach the moms a little football. It was, we had some interesting questions. It's always a lot of fun, and our kids, really need to appreciate their moms.
I'll tell you, and Coach Owens is all about that. I know Friday night at the ball game, team kind of lost its composure a little bit late in the ball game against Freeport. It was kind of funny because I was having dinner with Coach Owens and his wife the other night, and me and my wife, we were out having dinner. I said, Mike, tell me what you were telling the kids on the sideline. He said, I was just telling them they weren't being nice. And I thought, yeah, it's perfect. But that's not exactly what he was. But that's not what he's about. And that's why we have Mike Owens coaching us and doing the job he's doing for us. Coach Lupo, we appreciate you stopping in with us. Brian James, the Touchdown Club president, the shaker and the mover of the whole organization. Ricky Cumby, who can, if it wasn't for Ricky, I promise you guys, we'd be dead in the water right now. My sidekick, Brian LaCicero, who I've got Tony Kelly coming back for a few games to bail you out. Coach Mike Owens, who we all love more than anything in the world. Friday night, Aggie Stadium, 7:30 kickoff. Not 7 o'clock, folks. 7:30 kickoff over at Aggie Stadium. Fort Walton takes on the Tate Aggies. Y'all show up, wear your red and white, turn out, and let's get us a victory and bring us back 2-0. Good night, everybody.